Hey everybody, my name is Jackson, and this is an Xbox 360 that I bought for $15. It is extremely dirty and dusty and can use some of my TLC. The console works perfectly with the exception of this USB cover and a non-ejecting disk drive. In order to perform a complete restoration, we must first disassemble the device. I had no idea where to start, so I went by instinct. I knew I had to get these side vent covers off, which I later found out I did completely wrong. There are tabs which you're supposed to push in to release the cover, and as you can see, this caused one of the plastic bits to break off. Not to worry, as I resecured it with epoxy. I now had to separate these plastic case pieces. It turns out there are 5 tabs which need to be pushed in. Apparently there exists a tool that pushes these tabs in at the same time with ease. I highly recommend buying it. Now that we have the bare plastics, it's time to clean them. To prepare them for a wet clean, I started by removing the RF shield by cutting the melted plastic that holds it in place. The dust was then removed with a stiff brush and vacuum. Lastly, these stickers were removed with the help of WD-40. I then took the pieces to the sink where they could be thoroughly cleaned with soap and high-pressure water. There was also some corrosion on the RF shield where the dust had collected. A soak in white vinegar, along with a metal wire brush, removed the light corrosion with ease. Now to move to the console itself. Let's start by fixing the drive ejecting problems. As you can see, the drive doesn't eject reliably. This can be remedied by removing the little belt driving the eject mechanism and boiling it for 10 minutes. I could have replaced the belt, but I didn't feel like it. In this case, as you can see, the boiling trick worked. Now, let's do a light dusting of the internals. In order to clean the console completely and apply new thermal paste, I need to remove the logic board. Removing the disk drive, air duct, fans, power button, and screws on the bottom allowed the board to slide out fairly easily. To remove the heat sinks, 8 screws need to be removed, along with plastic washers that sit in between the heatsink and the logic board. The thermal paste surprisingly didn't look that bad, but I'll clean it off using alcohol. Since the thermal paste was newer, it was a little harder to remove, but I got it off using Q-tips and a toothbrush, being very gentle, of course. I'll then dust the logic board using the typical vac and brush treatment. I noticed that this coil looked very charred. Comparing it to its neighbor, you can see a huge difference. I'm not too worried about it because the console still works, but it looks like this was caused by a short. Now on to the fans. It sounds like this left fan has a noisy bearing. We'll try and fix that. Alright, now it's time to apply some new thermal paste. This will spread evenly when I put the heatsink back on. It was a little tricky getting the heatsink back on. along with its plastic washers, but with some finesse, I got them back on. Before we installed the board into the case, I added this piece of paper to act as an insulator from the metal case. I'm taking a moment to clean the disk drive tray, as there's a lot of dirt that is collected there. I'll also be removing the front emblem for cleaning. You can see there's some oxidation that's built up. I'll start by using alcohol. Then, I'll use compound and polish to shine it back up. There used to be some foil tape securing the disk drive to the case, so I added some back. Since I cut the plastic to remove this RF shielding, I'm going to use some epoxy to hold it back in. Now it's time to remove some scuffs. For this, I'm using baking soda and water. It's not perfect, but the mark is now less noticeable. In an attempt to quiet this very loud console, I'm adding this foam to the fans to dampen any vibration noise. Now normally to fix a rattling fan, there's an access hole on the back which you can use to reseat the bearing or oil it. In this case, the fans were sealed, but I was able to fix the rattling by burning a hole through the back using a soldering iron. This gave me access to the bearing, which I fixed by poking a screwdriver inside while the fan was running, and it reseated itself. So it's still loud, but here's what it sounded like before. Now to unbox this new faceplate I bought for $10. The old one had a broken USB cover as well as a loose power button, so I'm just gonna replace it. You know, for $10, this thing looks brand new.
Out with the old and in with the new.
Now it's time for reassembly. And there we have it, clean and running. Check out these before and after shots. It has a nice USB cover, and of course, it works perfectly. Let's try this game that came with it.
I heard the explosion. You blew the damn bridge? Was that really necessary?
Well, thank God you survived.
Yeah, and I owe you something, motherfucker.
I hope you enjoyed this video. I have similar videos planned, but until then, thank you for watching.